Hello Aries, this is your extended reading and I'm really excited for the message that is showing up here in the extended, because everything that was very mysterious and hidden in the first part that I was trying to ask more about, but I was, getting nothing really. And the information that I was getting on the reason why you couldn't receive the message or the news or why it was being delayed, it had nothing to do with you, like, necessarily. So it's almost like being left in the dark anyways. But I feel like somehow when when you start to see glimpses of the magic, is because part of this growing process has begun. Is like there is a little bit of like starting to see or starting to be able to get more information or receive more information. But there's something beautiful going on here. I feel like there is this process of growing, like an internal growth that is expanding you, that it's going beyond your body, right? It's almost like the inside coming out and expanding your body, or it's like this organic kind of system that works very perfectly, right? As a tree, right? But this is you, Aries. And here in the extended, we begin this reading with the Ace of Wands. And so this card came through with the message of a full-grown tree, but this is you, right? So remember, if in the first part you were showing up in the beginning stages of this growth, right, as just the page, but feeling the agony or the angst or the anxiety or the agitation, right, just like a baby when they're starting to grow out the teeth. So there is something growing from inside of you that is coming to the outside. It's almost like flourishing or growing to its full potential, but in a way you are not able to perceive this until it's fully grown, right? You can only see glimpses with these very beautiful sparks of magic, coming from the hat of the magician. So if we begin with the Ace of Wands, coming out of this hat of the magician, this is, well, the first sign. And that is the interesting thing about this part of your reading, Aries, is that this perception that you have fully grown is not exactly the signal that you can move. It's almost like becoming more aware of your body, becoming more aware of how you hold your position, right? Or how you take care of yourself in a very sensitive kind of way, but it's not sensitive in a way that is intuitive. It's more like sensorial, right? It's like your body is communicating because it's growing, right? And this full-grown tree, it's only this way now, or it's only, reaching its full potential because of the let's put it this way, because of the Four of Swords that is coming next. And this Four of Swords was talking about you respecting this moment of needing to be patient, or, well, remember when I was talking about in the beginning with the Five of Pentacles that it's almost like you were holding steady because you knew that the groundedness that you were building, or that it was like growing beneath your feet or becoming even more solid, and because you were not moving, it's like you were even more capable or more sensitive to perceive how solid this ground under your feet is, right? And so here with the Four of Swords, well, here we have a four, which is to me a very solid frame, right? A very solid base. But because it's the Four of Swords, meaning it's the downtime, or it's the moment of patience, right? Is the moment of perfecting things, or allowing your body to rest enough so that this perfection can come into play. Or because there is this intelligence of how this organic system functions and how it grows. So if you give it time, it will self-regulate. I don't even know if that's the right word, but it's like it has its own intelligence to control itself, right? And that's the beauty of it, or the magic of it, right? That you don't have to do anything. You just had to wait. And so you did. And because you did, so this is more than just resting. It's almost like, because resting in this case for you, okay, Aries, it's talking about being passive, which you're not, right? So it's almost like an active waiting, or an active holding steady. I don't know if that's possible, but it's like you were actively doing something, although your body was in this standstill mode, right? And the reason for that is because after this moment of understanding that to be fully grown, you had to wait, and that is okay. And that is maybe that is the first time that you realize that you have truly grown, right? That you see yourself as this beautiful tree that self-regulates. So here we have 2 cups cards, that, the 6 and the 2 of cups. So usually to me, the 2 of cups, well, this Temperance card is, the higher version, or the just the truer version of the 2 of cups, right? So because this 2 of cups appeared here in the extended, the reason why you had to be patient, the reason why you didn't, it's like you didn't have to worry about doing anything, right? Although there was a lot going on internally, right? Because it's like all of this water was being rearranged or moved through your body, because you were allowing yourself to have this downtime, to have this active rest, or to wait in this allowance or surrender. And so, organically speaking, right, in order for this beautiful tree to grow, it's not just about the solid ground, it's also about the water, right? And this is what was being hinted at with the Temperance card, but I was really not picking up until now, right? With the confirmation of these 2 cups. So the patience is more about the nutrients that your body needed, especially not only in terms of feeling grounded, right? Feeling solid, feeling strong, but feeling like your emotions were being worked out, or were being processed and healed, right? So this period of waiting, that you allowed yourself to feel this very stable, solid ground under you, right? And you were just patiently waiting, right? Even though maybe you were also dealing with frustration and anxiety, right? All of the work that was going on inside of you while all of this, beautiful tree was growing up with the roots and the branches and organizing themselves within your body, this was a phase for you to look backwards. So the reason why I'm saying that is because, to me, the 6 of Cups, at least now, and especially because you, Aries, if you were always moving ahead and going and doing, always looking forward, right? And not looking backwards at all, you wouldn't be able to deal with something quite emotional and sensitive as this. Especially if we are talking about a relationship of any kind, but a significant relationship that may have left this very deep mark in your past, but somehow it's almost like your nature or your drive was always pushing you forward and forward and forward, almost like to get yourself away from this. And all of the guidance from the first part that was saying stay put, there are things happening where you are and you cannot move right now because you have to allow this time and space for the tree to grow, right? And the roots to find their place and the branches to extend and expand. So, and that's the thing, right? It's almost like the roots going down is this looking backwards, right? Going back to the past. And it's like there is a little bit of a remembrance that needed to happen, but it would be impossible for this to happen if you were on the go always, right? Always moving, right? You needed to be still, right? Especially because if it's something so sensitive, it's almost like, is there something that you didn't want to see or that you didn't want to talk about it anymore? Either way, I feel like whoever this person is or whatever this connection is about for you, Aries, I feel like there is the need for you to look backwards, to revisit that memory, to go back to that moment that pretty much felt emotional and maybe overwhelming to you. And you may have, needed to stop on your tracks to assess this. And this is the moment where you are giving yourself exactly what you need to grow, right? The water that maybe you didn't want to consider here is exactly what is needed to give the nutrients to yourself for your internal self-regulation organism to work properly, right? It's almost like there was maybe a little bit of oil missing, or this water, right, to make it smoother, right? So this is when the news come, with the Ace of Swords coming next. So remember what the messenger of air or the Knight of Swords in the first part was talking about, right? It wasn't about the messenger itself. So, it was really of no use to point fingers at this one or to blame this one for not arriving early. It's not about them, right? It's about the message. And the message is only coming once you have done this period of staying put, of allowing yourself to dive again into those memories from the past, because that is allowing your root to grow, right? And to be even more stable, but also nourished, right? So here it comes. The news that you were expecting, or the announcement, or some sort of message that is the signal of like, now you can go, now you're free to move. But once you are given the signal, right, Aries, here we have another 6. So isn't this interesting? This 6 of Cups with the 2 of Cups was talking about the downtime, or slowing down your pace in order to really feel grounded, but also find the emotional nourishment that would water all of this ground, all of this soil that you're standing upon, right? And this needed to happen in this standstill mode because you couldn't look to the past, if you were moving forward, right? But here, after you receive this news, because you had looked towards the past, right? And you have received all of the emotional fulfillment, or the just, it's not fulfillment, it's not recharge, it's not reset either, it's uh rejuvenation, or I can't find the word. Yeah, if the word comes, I'll include here. But either way, the Six of Cups with the Two of Cups was talking about this looking backwards, right? It's like this movement in the opposite direction that you usually go. But here, after you receive this message that signals you to go ahead, that you can move forward again with the Six of Wands, right? Remember, you are the fully grown tree. You are the tree that has like allowed yourself time to grow to this full potential, right? It's like if here you were really wanting to move but couldn't because there was something that was keeping you from moving, right? And it was this sort of message or news. Once you understand that the work that is being done while you are holding your position is just as necessary for this message to find you, right? It's not just that you're waiting for it, you are actively waiting for it. So there is work in growing your own tree from the inside out. And this means that there is a lot of emotional processing that you, or remembrance that you had to do before you received this go ahead signal, right? So here are all of the trees. It's almost like now you can see that you're not, well, first of all, that you're not the only one that is doing this emotional work, that is growing your own internal tree in a sense, right? All of the branches, but all of the roots also. So looking to the past is fortifying your roots, but looking forward with this go ahead signal is allowing also the branches to expand forward, right? And this is what the Six of Wands is talking about. It's like this, it's not a permission per se, it's just the, it's almost like, because now you understand that what you were doing was really important to nourish yourself. It's almost like you got so focused within this memory or these memories or this past that for a little bit of time, or like a brief moment, you forgot that you were waiting for this, and this is when it is arriving, right? It's like when you least expect it, this is when you receive the message. So it gets you by surprise in a sense. Well, this is the magic of it, right? So when you feel like you are allowed to move forward, this is when the Queen of Cups shows up. So remember the Two of Cups, right? You had to look backwards in order to, it's almost like you had to revisit something or see something or again, or feel something again, right? And feel it in your entire body. It's not just something that you pick up an old photograph or an old letter or whatever, but it's more than that. It's like processing it with patience through your whole body. It's significant, right? It's an important relationship. And this one here is the person that maybe you were trying to avoid, or that you didn't want to speak to or see again, or maybe because the bond is really, really tight. But once you move forward again, the path forward, because you have fully grown as this beautiful tree with a steady soil, with steady roots and beautiful branches, yet to bloom in a sense, right? this is what this path, right, that needed to stall you for a bit, right? And this revisiting or this re-encounter, right? It's so different. It's almost like the memory that you had of them is nothing compared to meeting them again right now after you have gone through this growth process, right? Because it's almost like it's not something that is externally to you. It's not something that happens to you. It's something that grows from inside of you, right? And when it expresses, it's very positive. It's almost like they recognize all of the work that you have done. They can see your growth. Well, they are a queen, right? And it's like they have the maturity to see how much you have grown. Does it make sense? Even though, maybe it didn't exactly happen the way that you wanted, or the way that your nature is programmed to always move forward, Aries. It's like it's important for you to stay put, to allow yourself time to grow, but this includes looking to the past, which is something that maybe you don't often do, right? So let's look at the astrological runes with the final guidance for you. Whew. Okay. So this is really interesting. So we have Virgo and we have Scorpio. I feel like these two runes have come together in some reading, but I don't remember. But I just remember seeing them together side by side. Virgo and Scorpio are signs of the zodiac, Virgo being an earth sign and Scorpio being a water sign. But the beautiful thing, it has nothing to do with astrology, this final guidance. It's talking about, you see how the symbols are very similar, although the ending part is quite different. This is talking about, this with the Six of Wands, seeing that many people are going through the same thing as you, but also like this one significant other really sees your growth, and it's like she is applauding. It's almost like she is grateful, right? Because she cares for you. But this is something that is like each person will perceive differently. This is what these two runes, with the very specific ending is talking about. Maybe the beginning is the same, but the unfolding, or how much you take from that experience, from this stalling, right? It's like it's very particular to each and every one of you, especially to the ones that you are going to meet afterwards. It's like people that you've known before you go through this, let's call it reset or growth reset, and then I don't know if you can hear it, but it's just started really pouring. It was raining already, but now it's pouring. Okay, so this is part of the emotional work, right? But this is what we're talking about, like meeting again people that you knew before and that you really cared about. It's like they are going to notice the difference. They're going to see how much you have grown, and how much you have grown in a very unique way, maybe very different from them, right? So Aries, I hope this was insightful and enlightening to you. If you're going through this, just keep on going. Have a little bit more patience. I know this is very irritating, but it is going to be worth it. And it's like you're so close to being fully prepared, being fully ready and grown up. So yeah, I feel like, it's just a little bit of patience that is required of you right now. So yeah, thank you so much for being here with me, and I'll see you next time. Okay, bye.